Zoom, zoom, Bobby Keller. You're live. Well, not live, but you're on the air. Look at you, and the pumpkins stacked behind you.
It's the spooky basement.
How
I was in the
apropos.
kitchen upstairs before, but it wasn't scary enough, so I came down here.
Well, that, and I do believe, well, I won't let the people know. He said he looked like a potato. He was checking
Yeah.
out the shot. You got to make sure, like, you put yourself somewhere in your house where it looks decent for people to watch. You got to be
I
mindful.
got the pumpkins, the Morris the cat shirt in the background,
And you, and
and
yourself.
me.
You brought
Yeah.
yourself. I want to thank you because you're on my list. You've been on my list.
Your hit
For,
list?
well, yeah, exactly.
I knew it. That's why I'm down here in the bunker.
Well, the bombs are about to go off. They're about to
Yeah.
explode. Well, you've always been the movie buff. Growing up in high school, middle school. I didn't know you any earlier, but we've known each
I
other.
think
Went
we
to
were
school.
in I think we were in 6th grade homeroom together.
Oh yeah, from middle school on. Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, elementary school we didn't go together.
No, but you've always been a film buff. You were always off the wall, a little offbeat. Everyone loved you for it. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, that's why I bring it up, because you probably thought, like, I don't know if you got your balls busted because you guys did some off the wall stuff. We did drama class together in high school, so I knew your shtick.
Mm-hmm. Well, 9th grade, I got terrorized because I did the morning announcements and I had the green mohawk. By the time I got to, I think, 11th grade or 12th grade, people started to catch on that was my personality, and I got along with pretty much everybody by then.
Right. Well, because everyone came to, once you grow, kids are assholes when they're assholes. And then once you grow and you realize, it's like, you
It's
were
like
ahead of
kids
your
grow
time.
fast.
You were always a mad genius. You were always a film buff. We did a film together as youths. When the Sun Goes Down. I heard about this film being made with one of my best friends, Angelo DeSarno, told me. He's like, I'm making a movie with Bobby Keller. And I'm like, I'm the fucking Hector. Why are you making a movie with Bobby Keller? And then you were gracious enough to let me be involved in this vampire movie, which was legit.
And we immediately were like, all right, you're the gay vampire.
I elected that, I do believe.
That was your idea?
Well, if it were, I don't remember whose idea it was, but I know I was totally down with it because it's like, embrace it. At that time, I think at that time I was coming out to people, some of my close friends, and I knew it was bound to happen. So I figured it was a way of saying, I'll get myself before you get me. But
That's awesome.
I made an ass out of myself. Yeah. Well,
we all did in that movie. And the movie was 2 hours long.
Right.
That's the only time I jumped off a roof.
Not only that, but you guys filmed in like a Cessna.
A what?
A plane.
Oh, yeah.
Like some sort of a small plane.
Yeah, because we had footage from Mike Ancorani was the director. Well, we both, I guess, he was credited as the director, but we both did it. And he wrote it. It was based off of a short story he wrote. And he used footage from his vacation to Mexico on the airplane. His father, I don't know, I guess they're allowed to bring cameras back then.
Well, of course, that was
not allowed to now.
No, but of course, back then, absolutely, yeah. So he was smart enough. He took footage. He took B-roll for his movie on his vacation to Mexico.
I don't even know if he did it intentionally, but he ended up using it.
That's
brilliant. I don't think that was on his mind when shooting.
Kids, back in the day when we were doing this was on VHS. So this
shot on VHS too.
Right. So basically, the things that you guys had to do, even just to construct the film, are things that kids wouldn't even bother trying to figure out.
The way that we edited, it was a VCR on top of a VCR and pressing stop, pressing pause and record. Oh my God. Right. The movie came out to be 2 hours, which was way too long. It should have only been 45 minutes.
That's a lot of stop and record, Robert.
Yeah, I think it took, I remember doing it. I think it took 8 hours straight.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah, right.
And you were young. We were young when we did that. So it just goes to show this.
8th grade, I think. 8th or 9th grade.
This is something that's been ingrained in you. It's part of you. You run festivals now, horror festivals and things. The recent film that you and I did together, The Road Less Traveled, you featured at one of your festivals. When did that start?
Well, currently it's at Circle Drive-In. It's NEPA Horror Film Festival. If anyone calls it NEPA Horror Film Festival, I'm gonna kill you. Stop saying NEPA. It's not
Robert,
NEPA.
it's for expedience. It's like IMO. It's for it takes me longer to think of the in my opinion letters than it is to just say in my opinion. In my opinion.
But yeah, it's at Circle Drive-In. It's annual. It's every October. We do 13 short films. It started at River Street Jazz Cafe in Wilkes-Barre. They wanted I made a horror movie in 2012, and they asked me
Deatherman,
to
as you speak of, is that
Oh,
Deatherman?
yeah. Sorry, my allergies.
Okay. I could edit
Keep
these
making that
too.
noise.
I could chop them up a bit. It's rudimentary, but I give them little chops. Yeah, Deatherman, 2012.
You should overdub a scream every time I clear my throat.
Yeah, or like
But yeah, Deatherman, which you know John Casper.
Of course.
He was the main character in that. I don't want to talk about that movie too much. It's pretty bad, but it was about a killer weatherman, and I had already been playing it all over. And by the time they asked me to do the October event at River Street Jazz Cafe, I was already sick of the movie. And I said, I'll do something, but let's not have me be the center of attention. Let's do a film festival. And it's October Horror Film Festival. 13 is a spooky number, apparently.
Wow. I mean,
So 13 short films. The first year I did it, though, I had to track like filmmakers down and ask them if I can play stuff. Now I get over like hundreds of submissions from all over the world. It's insane.
That's how it works. That's how everything works.
So cool.
You know what? Well, that's because
more of the filmmakers are coming to the events now. And the coolest thing was at this last event in October, one of the filmmakers came from Dubois. And
right.
when I heard that he was coming, that just blew my mind.
I'm not sure. It sounds familiar. I think I remember you telling me because I did go to this last one because you had the man from Basket Case. No, you were you're running around, you know, taking care of everything. You have quite a legit situation going on now.
Yeah,
like you said, it starts off with you begging people to help you out from that, and then realizing, oh no, he's giving us
begging people.
Well, sure. I'm sure. I mean, it's not the hugest thing in the world, but for one young man to take on himself or to start, I'm sure there's other people who help or are involved. That's
especially now that I moved to New York. I have to have people helping me in Scranton. Just do like Jess Mione does so much. John again, like just little things that I can't go and speak to one of the sponsors in person. So I'll have somebody else do it. Ray Mione has helped out so much. And I couldn't stand him when I met him, and he really came through.
No, that's
Thanks, Ray.
Well, you know what? I used to say that. I'd be like, I hate you till I like you. I used to just say that because it's much easier, and then I end up liking more people and hating less people for however that works. But with you, there's a brief history. Bobby Keller, how we know each other maybe, and what this cat does, which is a lot. If you don't know him, most people who are watching this probably know you. I want to hop right into the 101 Must-See Movie Club, which I've dubbed it. I did that. I had to make it something consistent. And it's just basically interviews. I have a list of 20 people that I shall not name, but there are going to be interviews involved like such. But with you, I want to hop into your films earlier to give us, because we have a cutoff time. You know, they give us about a half hour or so I'm going to keep my eye on the clock. But aside from that, I've hit the little things I wanted to. But now, I don't know how much thought you put into it. I usually tell people the least amount, the better. But the floor is yours, sir. 5 films.
I'll start with, since I run the horror film festival and we're talking about horror movies, Bad Taste from 1987, directed by Peter Jackson.
Wow.
Are you familiar?
I'm absolutely not familiar, no.
You know Lord of the Rings,
I know Peter Jackson, yeah.
Well, he started off doing independent horror films in very, very low budget. And this one was shot in 1987, like I said, and it's one of the very few over-the-top like splatter fests that I can actually enjoy, because I don't really like gore.
American or just in general?
New Zealand.
New
It was shot
Zealand.
in New Zealand. And it's basically, it's a small town gets taken over by aliens that are using the humans' meat. I won't. Yeah, they took all the humans, and then this undercover government team comes in to assess the situation, and they end up going to war with the aliens, and it's just over the top special effects. And Peter Jackson, I believe he acted in it, directed, edited, and did the special effects.
Well, he must have been a child. Well, yeah, because he's older than I think he is. Peter Jackson, I guess he's probably in his 50s, or but he was still. I'm guessing here. I have no clue.
Probably in his 20s. I don't
know.
No,
I mean, like at the time, sure, he was in his 20s. I'm saying now he's probably in his 50s.
From what I've heard from like interviews and stuff, that he still acts like a child. Like I've read things that like working with him, it's like he's a big kid on
Bob,
set, and that just sounds really cool to me.
Well, that's how you are. That's how they. They say this. That's artists, whatever kind of artists, and scientists are usually children that have never grown up, because the sense of imagination has never gone anywhere. Their work is still.
Did you just call me a scientist?
Well, it's the other field, because you are an artist. I am
a scientist.
Your whole life has been one big. Your whole life has been a art performance piece. I'm waiting for you. Did Andy Kaufman at
I do
West
Bud
Scranton.
Dwyer right now.
You did an Andy Kaufman for Drama Fest,
I did
in high school. Like that was
I was going to do the women's wrestling, and Mrs. Paludis said I wasn't allowed to do it, and she's like, "Oh, do this Mighty Mouse thing instead." And then
that was perfect. She was right.
Yeah. It went over really well, and it went from ninth grade. I took Andy Kaufman's performance. 10th grade, I think I was suspended. I wasn't there. 11th grade, I don't think I did anything. But then I did. Actually, my first ever stand-up comedy set was senior year.
Oh, that's right. And you killed that.
I was up there for like 15 minutes. I said that I was doing a puppet show, and I announced to the whole auditorium that I forgot my puppet. I've done that I do that as an adult to this day.
Oh, I don't want to get off track, because I'm moving on to your number 2. Bad Taste, number 1. Interesting. Love Peter Jackson. Well,
you got to check out the special effects in that movie. They're over the top, but it's done so well.
It's the 80s. Everything was, because everyone was so excited about their work, like the Tom Savinis and the and of course I can't think of the makeup artists and Jim Henson and all the houses, the laboratories that came out with special effects, makeups, and puppetry, and that was the.
I should know that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
No, neither. I not enough time. But you were ahead of your time, like I said, back in high school with your routines. So you are an artist. You are a kid that has never grown up. Give me number 2.
Number 2, I wrote them down. Number 2 is Surf Nazis Must Die from 1987, also directed by a Peter George.
Really? Oh my God.
Oh my God. In this movie, are you familiar with Trauma Entertainment? Where did you go?
With what? Are you familiar with Trauma Entertainment? They made the Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High. Oh, of course. They were a small production house. They were a very small.
Yeah, they're like one of the most they're still to this day one of the most well-known independent horror companies.
But at the time of Toxic Avenger, they were.
Yeah, I'm not sure their exact history, but as I was going to say, those movies are kind of over the top and obnoxious. But they didn't actually produce this one; they just put it out. They distributed it, so
it still says something for it. But go ahead.
It's not as over the top as their normal like obnoxious. Oh, I'm not taking myself seriously. I'm a goofy actor. But this movie is basically it starts off as if it's a post-apocalyptic war with these neo-Nazi surfers taking over the beach, and there's all these earthquakes in California. And then later on, like there's a very humorous scene where one of the younger teenage neo-Nazis is getting scolded by his mother. So you see that it's not, they're taking themselves way too seriously. But
Yeah.
basically, it's a revenge movie. A, a black guy gets murdered by the Nazis, and his big bad mama comes and gets revenge on the Nazis, and
That must have been hysterical. Oh my
it is
God.
amazing, and the cinematography is amazing. The soundtrack is incredible. The
What's the
opening,
title again? One more time.
Surf Nazis Must Die.
So the whole subgenre of films like this that are out there, tons of them, and they are such good fun, and they just never enter my stream. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to dip a toe into that world because I've seen some things, of course.
Well, there's so many to choose from because there's so many movies with titles like that.
Because they don't cost they cost nothing to make.
And a lot of them are garbage, but this is like, that's why I'm picking these movies. Like, these are the ones, like, trust me, these are the ones that stand out and are worth watching. You don't even have to be a big horror fan, gore
So
fan,
I love
exploitation.
this. This is your top 5 of the worst already considered some of B films. Not the worst, just already over the top, self-referential. You know, they know that they're over the top, a lot of these movies.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
The two that I mentioned, definitely, yeah.
A lot. So out of a lot of the shit that's made cheaply, these are some of the ones worth watching.
Oh, absolutely. With bad taste, I was gonna pick between that and Evil Dead 2, but Evil Dead 2 is so much more obvious, so I went with this.
All right, I'll move you along to, so you're on number 3 now.
1974 blaxploitation film Truck Turner.
Blaxploitation.
Yes, my favorite subgenre.
It's crazy.
It stars Isaac Hayes as a ex-football player, I believe, turned bounty hunter for a bail bondsman. And he's a drunk slob. He turns into this drunk slob, and he ends up getting a bounty for this really dangerous, notorious pimp. And they go to arrest him or bring him back. And him and his partner end up killing this pimp. And then it just turns into this roller coaster ride. It's like
that reminds me of True Romance. That's like True Romance.
Oh, I love True Romance. The movie's so good.
True Romance is from beginning till end, nonstop. But that sort of reminds me of.
That's how this is. I can't remember. I watched it for the first time in January, actually, and I can't remember the last time I had so much fun watching a movie by myself. And then I watched it on Amazon Prime, and I bought the Blu-ray the next day, and I made my girlfriend watch it. I made her sisters watch it. I'm making everybody watch this movie. I'm like, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And there's a pimp funeral.
That's great. Well, you know, with those films and blaxploitation, you know, it is a subgenre where there are quite a few, like, really, and people chuckle at them and all that, but there was always social commentary. There's always undertones. They didn't just waste that time.
Yeah, a lot of with police brutality and racism, obviously.
Right. They made deliberate points, and it was important. Those are important films. I think
this one of the bunch that I've seen, this one stands out. This and like Hell Comes to Harlem or Hell Up in Harlem, whatever
what was the title one more time?
This is Truck Turner.
Truck Turner.
Highly recommended.
Truck Turner. Okay. Number 4. Yeah, keep going. You're doing great.
Number 4, I got lazy, and I'm going with Dawn of the Dead, 1978.
Why is that lazy?
Because it's obvious, I think. Well, for me, I think that movie is perfect.
It's obvious for you, but for other people, like to me, even to someone like myself, I get what you're talking about. But it's not even to myself. Who knows it? It's not even that obvious. It's just as important as any other slightly less important film, whatever this list is comprised of. Not the golden beacon films. I mean, but Dawn of the Dead. Wait, you said Dawn of the Dead, right?
Dawn.
Yeah.
No, Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead.
Is good too.
Yeah, they're all good.
They're all good. The mall.
The mall one. There's always talk about political commentary. I mean, George Romero was notorious for that.
Because
that's
that consumerism in
well,
that one, yeah.
yeah, with that one, I think, well, with Night of the Living Dead, that was unintentional. I don't think he had planned for it. There was supposed to be another actor, I think. Then the black actor became the guy. So that was
He auditioned. He wasn't written in the script. He wasn't written as a black guy, but
right. Oh,
he
okay.
he got the role
He got the
because
role
George
because he was
Romero said he was the best.
right. So it was an unintentional political statement. Well, at
Mm-hmm.
the end, because it was never written to be a black man. So the black man
Mm-hmm.
dying at the end was really just an accidental and the time it came out. But with the rest of his films, he took the opportunity to see that makes waves. So he
I think he tries to recreate that a lot too. Like,
yeah, you
I gotta
can.
put a black guy in the crazies. I
Yeah.
gotta put a black guy here.
Or at least, yeah, recreate that. You can't recreate that, something like that. That's a once in a lifetime sort of accidental,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, that to this day, that ending is so powerful. Like, oof.
Sure, it is. And
Oof.
you want to know why? Because it's another time, the first time where you go through an entire film and you don't get what you want. And not only do you not get what you want, it's you the whole time fighting off these zombies. It's very easy to become part of that film. And then by the time it's like by the time at the end, you not winning, it's not even just the guy anymore. It's just like, it's so the existential crisis of, is it even worth the fight? You know what I mean? That movie, yeah, that's why it's so talked about and whatever. Dawn of the Dead, a great pick. Don't call it lazy. Call it Dawn of the
It's
Dead.
lazy for me. I was like, I was trying to think of other
Your
stuff.
first four or first three or whatever are wonderful picks. You got a blaxploitation example in there for me. Thank you very much. Continue.
You're welcome. And now I'm on the last one, I believe.
I believe.
The Warriors from 1979. Yes, 1979, directed by Walter Cronkite. No, Walter Hill.
I had a terrible time directing that film. Well, I was younger and I was doing a lot of speed, but
Nice.
no, I've never seen The Warriors. I've heard of it. I've never seen any of these.
You never saw
Dawn of the Dead I saw, yes. But the other four I've never seen. So I'm thrilled about that. The Warriors, what is it? What is
basically it's about a street gang from Coney Island trying to make their way back home from a big meeting in the Bronx that this huge gang puts on for all the gang members to basically solidify, come together, and take over New York City, take over the cops.
No, you got it. So it's a small street gang trying to make their way to the big gang meeting to then take over the city.
Nine guys from the big gang in Coney Island. They represent Coney Island. There's gangs from representing all different turfs, boroughs, whatever. And the leader, Cyrus, of the big gang putting the meeting together, the Riffs they're called, he ends up getting shot by this real shitty like biker gang, and the Warriors get blamed for it. And they have to make their way on foot all over, and some trains they come across a lot of difficulty, but they have to make their way from the Bronx back home to Coney Island with every gang in New York after them.
Wow, that sounds great. So it's a journeyman. It's a journey. It's almost like it's a buddy film, a road film. You know, where all odds against you, and those odds carry chains and probably have jerry curls and bandanas and rips in them.
Yeah, you got to see some of the gangs in this. There's a mime gang. I'll let you see for yourself.
That's the best miming I could do. Okay, I do believe that was your top five. Yeah, I'll end with that one because, folks, the reality is, I told Bobby, I was like, we got to hop on quick. We got to do this quick because my father needs to shower. I didn't move to New York. I moved back home. So before I hear big footsteps coming up and an angry Irish voice, like, why the fuck you still living with me? I'm cooking dinner for my girlfriend. I'm going to cut.
The same thing's going to happen to me too.
Well, I'm going away for Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter to you. So I wanted to get this one quick. Frankenstein.
Easter. Yeah, stay safe.
Yeah, everyone stay safe.
All this shit going on.
I'll get this one out and up. Hopefully, like I said, nothing's in the bag till this uploads, downloads, and everything happens. Wires have come out, shit's happened, and we've lost some golden material before. So, knock on wood. Bobby Keller, I miss you, man.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This was fun.
Oh, thank you for doing it. Bye, world. Bye, everyone. Happy Easter.